Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I'm Cortenta Carty.
Thank you for joining us on this lovely Friday morning. We are glad that you are here. Now we proceed with the latest in local news. This from SKNIS. The countdown to the 25th annual St. Kitts Music Festival intensifies with 19 electrifying new musical acts revealed yesterday. The St. Kitts Music Festival, scheduled for the 22nd to the 24th of June at Warner Park Stadium, will showcase a mix of soul, soca, jazz, R&B, reggae, and more. The festival's music versatility unites A-list musicians, island visitors, and locals for a memorable celebration of culture and entertainment. The latest performers named to the music festival schedule include Burna Boy, Anthony B., Romain Virgo, Mr. Bagnall, Cass the Band, Gramps, Morgan, and so much more. Allison Tommy Thompson, CEO of St. Kitts Tourism Authority, said, quote, "The 25th annual music festival is sure to make waves throughout the region. This year's event will once again bring meaningful experiences to the community and visitors, not only through music, but through the island's vibrant culture and adventurous offerings," end quote. The Honorable Marcia Henderson, Minister of Tourism et al., echoed similar sentiments by saying, quote, "The music festival is notorious for its diversified music and experiences, which bring audiences from around the world to St. Kitts for an epic festival weekend. This spectacular lineup will maintain the festival's continued growth and sets the tone for a tremendous summer of fun in St. Kitts," end quote.
Everybody's gearing up for the 25th. Our second story comes from SKN Vibes. Cable and Wireless Charitable Foundation, the CWCF, is celebrating 5 years of partnership with local, regional, and international agencies and a total of $3.5 billion in donation, providing digital access and supporting relief and recovery initiatives throughout the Caribbean with the release of its 2022 annual report. Commenting on the milestone, Ingi Schmidt, chair of the CWCF board, remarked that, and quote, "The foundation was established out of a response to natural disasters in 2017 and has since evolved from reacting to natural disasters like Hurricane Maria, Irma, and Dorian into a philanthropic organization that's proactively expanding access, providing connectivity, and enhancing education for people we serve across the region," end quote. Cementing this shift in focus, the foundation also marked its 5-year anniversary with the successful completion of a pilot program in Jamaica focused on digital education for individuals aged 16 to 60 years old.
And moving on to the story from SKNIS. Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Marcia Henderson, has brokered a deal with American Airlines to increase airlift into the RLB International Airport that will benefit persons attending the St. Kitts 25th Annual Music Festival, which takes place from the 22nd to the 24th of June at the Warner Park Stadium. While addressing the media at a press conference on April 13th at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort, Minister Henderson stated that American Airlines has added additional nonstop flights from Miami between the 21st of June and the 25th of June for the St. Kitts Music Festival, and that American Airlines will also double its daily nonstop flights from Miami between the 15th of August and the 5th of September. She also said that Inter-Caribbean Airways now has direct flights to Barbados on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The tourism minister said that she and her team have been working around the clock to build the tourism industry. She said, quote, "Over the past few months, my team and I have worked assiduously to rebuild our tourism industry, which accounts for approximately 40% of our nation's GDP. As we look towards the future, our strategy for increasing tourism's impact is built on several pillars that include increasing stay-over arrivals through increased investment in our accommodation sector, diversifying the tourism product, and building airlift capacity," end quote.
Now for the weather forecast. It is mostly cloudy with a high of 79 and a low of 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Take a look at your hourly and your Friday weather and stay tuned. More GMS scan after this short break.
Let's see it.
Anecdotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. As we continue now with regional news, this comes from Loop Caribbean. There soon will be more competition on the Guyana to Canada air route as Guyanese President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali announced that SkyCana will be flying between both countries from June 1st, 2023. The announcement was made yesterday following a meeting with officials from the Dominican Republic-based airline, including CEO Frank Diaz Gonzalez and Guyanese government representatives. A post from Ali said the airline will also serve the route between Georgetown and Houston, Texas, but he did not reveal a date for its commencement. Currently, Caribbean Airlines is the only airline offering a direct or one-stop service between the Chedijangan International Airport and the Toronto Pearson International Airport.
And on the international scene from Good News Network. Out in the ultra-rural jungles of eastern Madagascar, something is happening that all climate-conscious philanthropists and investors should take note of. A few intrepid locals have created a 6-year Work for Knowledge program that's turning jobless country folk into passionate, skilled forest management agents and entrepreneurs ready to show the world that they themselves have the power to restore the glory of Madagascar's stunning biodiversity. Organized by a Malagasy woman and her Wall Street expat husband, Green Again Madagascar is unlike any other tree planting nonprofit around. Leighton Reed, assistant professor in the School of Plant and Environmental Sciences at Virginia Tech, who conducted research for the group, told Wall, quote, "It's really exemplary of bottom-up restoration," end quote. Tree planting has become all the rage as a way for corporations and international aid and development agencies to help alleviate poverty and prevent climate change by offsetting carbon emissions. Huge issues largely go unreported along with this activity, however. Right, so that's a great story.
Great initiatives, yes, indeed. Well, folks, there we have it for regional and international news. Stay tuned, much more after this, a short break.
各位朋友，大家好. Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango.
Good morning SKN and Studio 327. This is Tao Batiste, one of your biggest fans. Just you're doing a lot of things well. Keep on that trajectory. Greatness, greatness, greatness.
It's Infused Friday. Welcome to today's recipe. But before we get into that, let me give you some information about the benefits of H2O. Infused water adds more to your H2O. It not only gives you the same refreshed feeling that water does, but it adds flavor and nutritional benefits. Adding different combinations of herbs, fruits, and spices to your water can lead to endless combinations that are not only delicious, but extremely good for you. Helping to control bloating, because many women suffer from bloating due to excess salt or hormonal fluctuation. Water-rich foods such as lemon and cucumber can help control this problem. How does this link into relaxation? Well, if you infuse your drink with herbs that are linked to relaxation, such as sage, this often helps. What are the benefits of anti-aging? Well, if you add dark berries and pomegranate seeds, which are rich in antioxidants, this can help protect against the effects of aging. Let's talk about metabolism. Many fruits can boost your metabolism and help with weight loss, so be sure to add in your raspberries, strawberries, tangerines, and any other delicious fruit. Now, let's move on to the recipe for this Friday, which is watermelon and lemon mint. Ingredients: 1 small cup of watermelon pieces, 1 large lemon sliced, and a handful of fresh mints. Now, for the directions, very simple. You just need a pitcher and add 1 small cup of watermelon sliced, 1 large lemon sliced, and a handful of fresh mint. Muddle ingredients and fill pitcher with ice water, and you're good to go. Add more to your H2O. Check out the Facebook page every Friday for refreshing infused water recipes.
The TED Talk presentation, The Danger of Silence by Clint Smith, is one of the most popular TED Talks with a whopping 2 million views. A TED Talk is a recorded public speaking presentation that was originally given at the main TED, that's Technology, Entertainment, and Design annual event, or one of its many satellite events around the world. Here's Clint Smith's presentation.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in a 1968 speech where he reflects upon the civil rights movement, states, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." As a teacher, I've internalized this message. Every day all around us, we see the consequences of silence manifest themselves in the form of discrimination, violence, genocide, and war. In the classroom, I challenge my students to explore the silences in their own lives through poetry. We work together to fill those spaces, to recognize them, to name them, to understand that they don't have to be sources of shame. In an effort to create a culture within my classroom where students feel safe sharing the intimacies of their own silences, I have 4 core principles posted on the board that sits in the front of my class, which every student signs at the beginning of the year. Read critically, write consciously, speak clearly, tell your truth. I find myself thinking a lot about that last point, tell your truth. And I realized that if I was going to ask my students to speak up, I was going to have to tell my truth and be honest with them about the times where I failed to do so. So I tell them that growing up as a kid in a Catholic family in New Orleans, during Lent, I was always taught that the most meaningful thing one could do was to give something up. Sacrifice something you typically indulge in to prove to God you understand his sanctity. I've given up soda, McDonald's, French fries, French kisses, and everything in between. But one year, I gave up speaking. Figured the most valuable thing I could sacrifice was my own voice, but it was like I hadn't realized that I had given that up a long time ago. I had spent so much of my life telling people the things they wanted to hear instead of the things they needed to. Told myself I wasn't meant to be anyone's conscience because I still had to figure out being my own, so sometimes I just wouldn't say anything, appeasing ignorance with my silence, unaware that validation doesn't need words to endorse its existence. When Christian was beat up for being gay, I put my hands in my pocket and walked with my head down as if I didn't even notice. Couldn't use my locker for weeks because the bolt on the lock reminded me of the one I had put on my lips when the homeless man on the corner looked at me with eyes up, merely searching for an affirmation that he was worth seeing. I was more concerned with touching the screen of my Apple than actually feeding him one. When the woman at the fundraising gala said, "I'm so proud of you. It must be so so hard teaching those poor, unintelligent kids. I bit my lip because apparently we needed her money more than my students needed their dignity. We spend so much time listening to the things people are saying that we rarely pay attention to the things they don't. Silence is the residue of fear. It is feeling your flaws gut-wrench guillotine your tongue. It is the air retreating from your chest because it doesn't feel safe in your lungs. Silence is Rwandan genocide. Silence is Katrina. It is what you hear when there aren't enough body bags left. It is the sound after the noose is already tied. It is charring. It is chains. It is privilege. It is pain. There is no time to pick your battles when your battles have already picked you. I will not let silence wrap itself around my indecision. I will tell Christian that he is a lion, a sanctuary of bravery and brilliance. I will ask that homeless man what his name is and how his day was, because sometimes all people want to be is human. I will tell that woman that my students can talk about transcendentalism like their last name was Thoreau, and just because you watch one episode of The Wire doesn't mean you know anything about my kids. So this year, instead of giving something up, I will live every day as if there were a microphone tucked under my tongue, a stage on the underside of my inhibition. Because who has to have a soapbox when all you've ever needed is your voice? Thank you.
So what he's basically saying, when things happen, if they don't concern us, we basically turn a deaf ear or a blind eye, and we say nothing because it doesn't concern us. Maybe for the fear that we don't want to be thrown in the bad book or the bad barrel.
Or the lion's den, depending.
Yeah, because we can't come out of that. We're not Daniel. So we just don't say anything. And as he mentioned something that sometimes we take money for the kids, but then the things that people say prior to giving us the money, we don't say anything about that. We just know that we're getting this big donation, and because of who they are, no matter what they say, even if it works against the values and the beliefs of the children, we're going to stay silent, get that money, and just move on.
Yeah, and those are very good points. I would say that as people generally, we can be very indifferent and insulated from things that don't concern us directly, and whether that comes because we feel that we can't make a difference or because we just don't want to get involved, it still has that same effect. As he rightly said, the things that are negative, and I'm paraphrasing here, but the things that are negative don't need validation. They'll go on anyway. And if you don't speak up to address them, they'll still go on. I also want to speak to Cretensia, what he said were his 4 principles. Read critically, write consciously, speak clearly, and tell your truth. And these are very important things, because if I were to take the first one, even if we isolate them, of course, taking the first one, reading critically, critical thinking is one of those skills that effectively you could apply anywhere, because you're not just accepting something because it comes from somebody who is well known either in the field or not. You're actually thinking, well, these are my thoughts on the matter. This is how I see it based on my reality, and this is the evidence that I can use to support my viewpoint. So I can understand what you're saying, but I can also challenge it in some respects because I'm critically minded.
And write consciously. So what I got from that is, as Lem said something yesterday, it's picture permanent. What you write could be permanent, especially if it's published. So you have to be mindful of what you are writing. And to me, you get the facts out there without being indifferent. Well, you're saying what you mean, but you're trying still not to be disrespectful to other parties. So you're writing consciously, but you're ensuring that your voice and your work is seen and heard.
Well, that's important, because to think about being conscious, it means that the mind is engaged. It's not a mindless activity. And so you are writing, and there is something, as you rightly said, that's a little more permanent about something that is written. And so if you are writing consciously, then you're going to be guarded with your word, but you are also going to be sure that your word is making an impact.
Exactly.
Because there is a little more permanence associated with it. When it comes to speaking clearly, I would say for me, this means that there should be no ambiguity in your speech. So nobody should have to question where you draw the line on any issue because your thought is clear. It's clearly expressed, and people might misinterpret.
Yeah.
That's another thing. But if you are clear with it and you know that you're clear, you can go back to your word, justify it, say this is exactly what I said.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to speak clearly either, because the environment might not be conducive to it. But in the end, what you feel about it, your own conviction, is what will guide you.
Exactly. And telling your truth, how about that? Sometimes we don't tell the truth for the fear. This is what we say, the little white lie. But we have to speak the truth, because if persons aren't told, then they won't know. And this makes reference to your friends. You know, sometimes we have friends and we want to sugarcoat everything for them. But a true friend will tell their friend when they're going wrong, what they said was wrong, what they did offended one, and not just be, what should I, get an ego and then just move on. Just decide, you're not my group of friends anymore because of this and that and that. You have to speak. You are your friend's keeper. That's why sometimes they say your best friend is your worst enemy, because sometimes your enemy might ensure that you don't fall, although they don't like you. They might say, look, something in front of it. And because it's your enemy too, you know, and yes, I'm going to go colloquial. You might not listen to them, but then, bruh, you fall. But they just warned you. And your friend saw that, and your friend didn't see that that was there. So, friends, we need to speak up, let each other know what's going on, where they're going wrong, how we feel, etc., etc. We can't just be happy-go-lucky all the time and patting each other on the shoulder. Yeah, you're doing a good job. Very well. No, your friend's horrible as ever. Yeah, that's the nicest way I can put it.
Well, fair enough. And when it comes to telling your truth, I would say this much: tell your truth. There are operative words here. I think your and truth are very important. If I were to segment them, your truth, something personal to you, as opposed to the truth as we see it. When I think of telling your truth in the context of silence, it might be an uncomfortable truth. It might be something that others would rather you not say. It might be something that is not palatable, but it is your truth.
Yeah,
and so you should not be afraid to tell your truth, because that is your truth. And the other thing is, also telling your truth might actually go straight to the core of what others' perceptions are of the truth, but not the truth according to you or your own truth. And so in those veins, it becomes important as well, because there might be pressure to be silent just to allow the status quo to continue. But telling your truth, finding your voice, and having that faith in yourself, strength to speak up, very important.
Yeah, because if a lot of people didn't speak up, like Martin Luther King, like Malcolm X, like Jesse Jackson, well, Reverend Al Sharpton still speaks up until now. If Rosa didn't say she was not sitting in the back of the bus, we might have still been at the back of the bus. So these persons told their truth, they spoke up, and look, we are almost in I can't say perfect world, but we have gotten places. So tell your truth, speak up, and watch life flow.
And there was one final thing that I'd like to say as it pertains to the video that you just watched. This is what he said: in the end, we would remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Don't be silent. With that, we go to a break. We'll be back in a moment with more in SKN.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar. Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super, super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao bango.
Good morning, SKN. This is Lyrical. I just want to say blessings to you. There are a happy place in the life if you live in there. A happy place in the life if you live in there. Cause them at a happy place in the life. And they can't change. And they just come out here to do right. So whether day or night, they will never ever change. Blessings, blessings, and blessings.
Good morning. This is Karen of Paris and Zippo from Paris, Vermont. I will want to encourage y'all to sign on to Good Morning SKN every morning from 8 to 10 at Studio 327. Thanks.
This is Lyrical. I just want to say blessings to you. There are a happy place in the life if you live in there. A happy place in the life if you live in there. Cause them at a happy place in the life. And they can't change. And they just come out here to do right. So whether day or night, they will never ever change. Blessings, blessings, and blessings.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Our first guest this morning is Edna Illich-Tobin. Edna's childhood experiences have been the driving force for the humanitarian effort that she has been on for quite a while and the humanitarian that she is today. She spent some of her early years in St. Kitts and has come back to visit numerous times to contribute to persons in need. And it is truly an honor to be in your presence, yes. Mrs. Tobin. before we begin, as a little bit of an icebreaker, we really want to know what your connection is to St. Kitts. So what can you tell us?
Good morning to all my listeners. My connection to St. Kitts, my mother was born and raised in St. Kitts, my grandparents also. And I've been coming to St. Kitts at the age of 16, as you said also before. And I love St. Kitts also. I love the people. And it's connected to me because my mother's roots is from here. You know, your roots is important where you come from. And that's why I always come back to St. Kitts. And that gives me the driving spirit also to help the needy, the less vulnerable, and underprivileged children and even adults. So I've been doing this for years.
Wow.
Okay. What part of St. Kitts are you from?
My mother comes from Newtown, Bastia, St. Kitts.
Oh, so your mom is from St. Kitts.
Yeah.
You are not from St. Kitts.
No, I was born in St. Martin.
Okay.
I always call myself Kittitian.
You are. We take you.
You are. Yes, indeed, you are. Okay. So you said your first return was at the age of 16.
16. I was going and coming. I have a sister here, a bigger sister, and I have about 5 brothers here.
I love the way you're counting.
I have to check because my mother has 13 children.
Wow.
I have 17 brothers and sisters.
Your mom had 13, but you have 7.
Yeah, my father has about 4.
Okay, wow. And prior to us starting the show, Jamie asked you, which number were you? What number are you in that?
I'm number 8.
Oh, wow.
And I asked,
Number 8.
I asked that because I wanted to get a sense from you as to, you know, whether you were looking out for your younger siblings, whether you were the baby or whether you were looking out for your younger siblings.
That's a good question what you said because I used to work at Colombian Emerald, one of the best jewelry store in St. Martin, and I took care of all of my brothers and sisters. I live in Holland 34 years now, and I only have one son, so I take care of all of my brothers and sisters' kids. Everybody asks me, Holland, why you do that? But it's just in me. So I brought them up, and they're 34-year-old now. They came when I was 11, and they always come by me. I have 3 of them now in my house.
That's great. And I think that really speaks to the person that you are and informs your humanitarian work, which is something that, you know, I really want to get to in terms of the way that you grew up, because coming from a house with 13 children could not have been easy. What was that like?
Oh, it was very challenging because we live in Mill Region in St. Martin. We had to go down by the well. I remember I have to go to the well, bring the water on my head. We didn't have any running pipe.
Okay.
We didn't have anything. We used to live on the hill. So I had to go up the hill walking with the water on my head. And it was I think when you grow up in poverty, it's a bit shame also. Other kids are doing well. They have this and you don't have much. But I must say, I had a guardian angel. That's my teacher. I was 5-year-old. So my teacher took me home. She was from Suriname. She was married to a white man, and from Holland. She took me home at the age of 5, and I spent most of my time growing up with her. And she passed away now, and she was in Holland. I had from my 5 years to up to I'm 57 now, at connection with her. But sadly, she passed away in Holland from cancer. And on her dying bed, I slept with her in the hospice. And she said, just 1 minute. I asked her, why did you take me home? You know, because I didn't understand it either. Why is somebody going to take you home? But she said, you know why? You were such a nice, kind, loving little girl.
Wow.
And now she passed Streefkerk, you know. She was a marvelous person. She took care of a lot of people in St. Martin. They honor her also in St. Martin. She was a great person. And she taught me how to swim. And she taught me a lot, because when you're growing up poor with your mother, they give you education, but they cannot really give you the driving spirit, because they're looking for the food, they're looking for clothing for you. So what she did, she gave me she paved the way for me to get education. So when I went to Holland, I studied 3 years social worker, and then thank God for her. So I'm working like 24 years now in the children field. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. I have a lot of parents all over the world, and they always come back, and you know, is beautiful. So I'm thanking God to my mother and father, also her, that she did a great job. And I think she'll be proud of me. Before she dies, she said, Edna, I want to tell you something. I'm dying now, but I cannot turn back the time. Everything you want to do in life, please do it. I wish I could turn back the time. Because the doctor tell her within 6 months she was going to die.
Okay.
And but she was very strong. She never fussed. She used to laugh all the time. And when I come in, she tell everybody, hey, that's my daughter. She said, you know, my daughter used to say when she was small, teacher, why is the bread brown? You know why? We only eat white bread. Because it go by she's eating brown bread. I was small. And she tell all of the people in the hospice, she spoke about me. So that was very, very, very nice. So in my life, I had a lot of people, guardian angel, around. My godfather, my auntie Yorks in St. Martin. You know, I mean, just was lucky to. So I say, you know something? With all of that luck I got, I would like to share it with most of kids. Because kids are the most vulnerable thing, and the elderly, and the sick, and the kids in special needs. Those are important in life right now. Doesn't matter how much cars you have or how much this you have. It's not important. It's important that you can put some blessing or help someone in need. I am not rich, but in Holland I work hard to come down to St. Kitts with 12 boxes of clothing from Amsterdam, St. Martin here, and 4 suitcases. I also help a lady for the pandemic, and she was very neat. Every month I send like all my vacation money to her in St. Kitts. And sometimes I call her, hear in her voice, hey, she need money. You know? Then I work extra and I send even 40 euro, it doesn't matter. And she was so grateful. Sometimes she cries, she said, Edna, how you know I need? I just feel it. I just feel it.
It's got to be that spiritual sense. So you're here for a reason. You know what I mean? And you're in tune with that, and so you know exactly what that is.
That is. One time, I don't want to spend too much time, I went to a place with my niece, came from St. Martin for the hurricane. She was going to school in Holland. So I sat there, and I saw this lady sitting over there. I said, you know something? She need help. So funny. And then after she and her daughter and my niece went up, come back, and she started, I can speak Spanish, Dutch, I speak everything. So she said, how are you? So I'm here from St. Martin with the hurricane, which took everything from me. So can you help me, please? Can you go to the social with me? That was so funny. So I went to the social with her. I helped her with the house. I Facebook. I tell people, come, I want money. I want things. All of them bring, my house was full. You know what she told me? She's doing good. She's Edna. After God is you. Wow, that was so touching. And I don't tell no one about it when I do things. But now I have to come out. If I need help, I want people to help me. I need to come out of that underground and come on the surface. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it is really touching. People do not know what poverty do with you as a child. It can mess with your mental health. It can make you feel less valuable whilst you're a beautiful child. But it makes you like not feeling well.
Well, we're glad that you are talking about that, and we're going to pick up on that point and so much more when we come back from this break. So more with Mrs. Tobin in a moment. Stay tuned, everyone.
Good morning. This is Karen Paris and support from Paris, Vermont. I want to encourage y'all to sign on to Good Morning SKN every morning from 8 to 10 at Studio 327. Thanks.
Welcome to another edition of Infused Friday. We have another great infused water recipe for you to try out. Pineapple and sweet red bell pepper. I know what you're thinking, but this will bring a pep in your step. Here are some of the benefits you may experience from this exotic combination. Pineapple juice is rich in a variety of vitamins and minerals. It's especially packed with manganese, copper, vitamin B6 and vitamin C, all of which play important roles in the proper functioning of your body. Red capsicum or red bell pepper contains lycopene, and a phytonutrient which helps to keep a healthy heart. It is also a rich source of folate and vitamin B6, along with antioxidants known to protect the body against free radicals. I know you cannot wait to try out this amazing fruit and vegetable infusion. Let's get you started with the following ingredients. You will need 6 pineapple cubes, 6 red capsicum cubes, enough fresh water to fill your jug or bottle. And the directions. Remember to wash your ingredients well. Chop and slice ingredients as necessary. Add to ingredients to a large jug or bottle. Stir ingredients and add fresh water and stir. Let it infuse, settle, and then serve into tall glasses. Can you taste the goodness already? Add more to your H2O. Check out the Facebook page every Friday for refreshing infused water recipes.
大家好，我是陈琦，早安 SKN。
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN as we continue our engaging conversation with humanitarian Edna Tobin. So Edna, how long have you been working as a social worker?
I've been working roughly 24 years as a social worker in the Netherlands. As you know, Holland, Den Haag.
Okay.
When I hear you say that, I remember when I first met you here, you said that speaking English might be a little bit of a challenge. You reminded me. I think you're doing very well.
Thank you very much. Sometimes because all my schooling I had in Dutch. In St. Martin, I went right up to Dutch. I went to Holland, right up to Dutch. So it's a bit difficult sometimes with certain words and stuff like that, you know.
Okay.
You all speak proper English in St. Kitts.
Thank you for that.
We try.
Yes.
We try. I would tell you that I think the universal language is love and caring, and what you do speaks into that no matter the language that
Thank you
person
very
speaks. Something that you said before, Edna, I want to get back to concerning your upbringing. There was a passionate story that you told that really, moved me.
Okay, my mother, Almin Tobin, my mother died on my birthday, 2020. She was 84. She battled cancer. She was strong. She's a strong Kittitian. She worked hard. She's a loving person. And, the cancer just took her, went with her. She did it on my birthday. So, but my mother used to work in a restaurant. And what she did, she used to tell us that for us to eat, she should wrap the food in a sack, tie it up very tight, throw it in the garbage, and when she reached outside, take it out of the garbage and put it in her bag and throw it in the garbage in order for us to get food to eat. So that's very touching. And people see us because I was 1985 Carnival Queen in St. Martin.
Ooh,
I was also the school queen.
Nice.
So during that time, I got a fridge. We didn't have a fridge, so a good fridge. So they gave me a fridge. So I was very happy.
Oh, wow.
And also during that time, in my early growing up in Middle Region. Middle Region we are now in Soccer Garden. Middle Region, we used to live on a hill, no running water, toilet outside, in the night dark, centipede, all those things. That's I'm scared of centipede now. So what we used to do, go down by the well. They had a well. We used to go down by the well. There's the road. Bus, everything is passing. When the bus passing, we put it down like we are not there. It's over there. And when the bus passes, we pick it up fast and we run home.
Yeah.
And after a couple of years, then we get running water. But all of the neighbors, everyone had running water. It was very challenging. And I think sometimes it still haunts me a little bit. A little bit, it haunts me a little bit to see how growing up can be rough. So when I come to St. Kitts and I see certain things, I'm like, in this world right now, no one should be having a toilet outside. In this world right now, in the Caribbean, no one should be bathing outside. Everyone should have a proper toilet inside, a proper shower, everything. I went to a home, I took some pictures. I went to the home, I started to cry, I had to come out. Toilet was outside, everything. So I spoke to one of the kids in there. So how do you feel in St. Kitts? And like she said, yeah, sometimes she feel very shame. You know, when you go to school, everybody have talking this and this, and you don't have the proper toilet to go into. That's sad. You know, in this time, you know, if everyone in this world put maybe even $1 or euro, whatever, we don't have any poverty because I don't have to have 10 dresses. I don't have to have so much. You don't have to have that. So if you can touch one person with $1, €1, whatever, it's great. And I'm telling all of the politicians in St. Kitts and all of them, please help the needy, help the less vulnerable, and help underprivileged people. You know what I mean? Stop looking, because you know the next thing is a stigma.
Yes.
That is it. When you're poor, people look down at you.
Yes.
It's really true. I notice it. 'Cause when I go to St. Martin, I see it. And it sometimes, you know, aggravates me. Because they ask me, why don't you help St. Martin? But St. Martin people are different than St. Kitts people, so they have it a little bit better. And I go into my roots of my mother. So way I'm going to.
And we appreciate that.
That roots of my mother. So people have to understand that poverty is something, it makes kids mentally not well. Also, the next thing is they go into the gang. And that's it. And that people want to say, oh, why my son is doing this? If my mother is struggling, we was different. We see our mother struggling, we say, okay, let me look at job. But now, like my mother's struggling, I can go and push something over there for $1,000. And that's it. So that's, we are losing all our kids to the drugs, to all kind of things because of that. Because of poverty. You know, we need to move poverty. You know what I mean?
Absolutely correct. I agree
That's
with you.
really, really true.
Edna, what are some of the things that you're engaged in on this particular visit to St. Kitts that will help the less vulnerable or the needy?
Okay, I had 12 boxes, 4 suitcases, they're all finished. But at this place I went on during this week, we got a box full of things. The kids were so happy, but the boys, their face were like, because I didn't have nothing for the boys. I felt so bad. But oh my God, what is touching? This is really touching. I came in, had a lady with one leg, and she spoke. She said, wow. She said, come over there, come here. Can you please give me a leg?
Wow.
I was like, it touched me. She said, I want to move around. I cannot move around. I used to. She was planning to, you know, gather money together, but for whatever reason, it didn't went ahead. She said, please, if you could do anything for me, please give me a leg. You know, that was really touching. So the next trip is when I go to I think she have to do that from St. Martin.
Okay.
Because Holland would be too far. Because she have to go there, try the leg, put it on. So while I'm going to go to St. Martin, that is my first priority. For me to get in contact with the doctors who does that. And my second priority is get some things for the boys.
For the boys, yes.
So the boys was really, they was really mad. Because in 2015, I went to England, and I bought lots of things. I went to the Addie's home and the poor house. You call it the poor house?
Yes, that's the elderly home.
The elderly home. I went
the Carden home.
Yes, but I was very shocked. I must be very honest to see the way how that place was, you know. Sorry, you know what I mean? They need a little pain. Not because I'm old. I mean, I have to live in an old place. It doesn't even, I serve my country. I took care of my country. So now it's time for the country to take care of me. And that's touched me, to see that elderly in a chair. No, man, not because you're old, you have to be like that. Paint the place, fix it up. And that's my thing. Because you're poor, you have to live a kind of how. And because you're rich, you have to live like that. I don't believe in that.
I love that. And I think that with your energy and your drive and just your spirit, you're starting a movement, honestly. And so I want to know what you require. What you require in terms of assistance, if anything, from people who might be watching. What can we do to help you as you help others?
Okay, what can you do? Okay, it's in Holland, everyone want to help me. My house is still full of things. I couldn't bring everything because it costs a lot of money. I paid out of my own money. I do it with pleasure, you know. People think I'm crazy, but it's no problem. You know, God provides for everything. God is a God, like, He sees, He knows. So when I go back to Holland right now, and I bring my papers and everything, there'll be lots of people want to help me. And So I have to see like if whoever is watching this show now and want to donate or want to do anything, they're free to, they're welcome. But let's get that leg for the lady, please, who's looking.
All right, so how do we contact you? Because maybe you just inspired somebody to do just that, to help you.
Okay, how you contact me, I have my number from Holland. I live in Holland. I have my email address, and I also have a contact in St. Kitts where people can contact also.
Do you want to give us that one? That contact? Do you want to give us that contact?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you all that contact, and then the number. Then maybe you can call that person. But must say in St. Kitts, you need to be careful with this politics. Who is who in who? I'm not here to be engaged in any kind of political problem or colors. I'm not here for that. I'm here to help the needy, the vulnerable, and underprivileged people. Because you have to be very careful. You're giving someone a number. I might give you a number, you're Pam, or you're this. Well,
not me, but I get you.
I'm just saying.
I understand what you mean.
I notice in St. Kitts, that's a big thing. And let's stop the Pam and this. Let's focus on one thing: getting these people help, please. Stop the politician things of who got. Everybody driving the big car. But what about those who dare so just in a little room, gotta go inside and go in the night, gotta go to the toilet?
Yeah.
Right? People ever thought about that? I had to do that, and it was not easy.
And that's what inspired you now.
That inspired me now to do that, and that's my driving point. And what I want to do is thank everyone in Holland. My friends, my colleagues, all of them who helped me, also in St. Martin, also my sisters, my brothers, and everyone. They also gave me and my loving son and my I'm taught my granddaughter is making 10. I tell her, listen, her name is Brahida. I say, Brahida, I'm taking you close to St. Kitts. She said, oh, that's so nice, Oma. Give them this, Oma. Give them that, Oma. Oma is his grandmother.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching her now that not because you have a lot, you must know that out there's some child who don't have anything. All my grandchildren need to know that, because they're in Holland, they're living big. No, you need to know there's also other side of the coin. That's important in life.
It is, and it keeps you grounded. And I love the way that you tell the story about teaching Braida.
Yeah.
Because at that age, then she wants to give, and it just goes on and it goes on and it goes on. So we're going to take the number from you off ear, and then we're going to put that up for viewers. But we want to thank you.
Thank you all very much for having me on the show. I appreciate it, and maybe next time again.
Yeah, see you when you come back.
Yeah, and before we end, I want to say that Felix Dexter Tobin, that's my cousin. He's from St. Kitts. I went to St. Kitts at the age of 7. My aunt's son. He have £30,000. He gave 40,000. He died in 2013. He have 40,000 pounds for a school in St. Kitts. They gave 10,000 already. So I'm fighting 10 years now to get that 30,000 out of England, solicitor office, to a school in St. Kitts. That's my other drive. I spent a lot of money on that. So now I'm busy with the Attorney General here for them to see, because it's in his will. So if something is in your will, if I die now, God forbid, it's gonna go dead. I'm the only one who knew him very well. He's from Holland. He's one of the top. I'm gonna give you his book. He is one of the top in England. BBC gave him an award. He's a St. Kitts roots. So I want to put a bursary in his name in St. Kitts. A bus statue. That's I'm fighting for now. So please, who hear me now, the 30,000, let us get it to St. Kitts.
Yes.
It's 10 years in England, in a solicitor office. I fight. You have to be all kind of things, but we need to get it over. So
we're
I'm busy with
follow up
that.
with you on that, because that's a great initiative. So we want to thank you again.
Yeah.
A lot more to talk about. So this is not going to be a last conversation. Definitely not. So thank you so much, Mrs. Stone.
Thank you very much, and you all have a blessed day.
You too as well.
Thank you.
More Good Morning SKN in a moment. Stay tuned. Yeah.
an exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
Good morning, SKN. This is Lyrical. I just want to say blessings to you. There are a happy place in the life if you live in there. A happy place in the life if you live in there. Cause them at a happy place in the life. And they can't change. And they just come out here to do right. So whether day or night, they will never ever change. Blessings, blessings, and blessings.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Here with us are 17-year-old saxophonist Colin Norford Jr. and 15-year-old vocalist Jamari Isaac. They were recently selected for the International Music Camp to be held this summer at the International Peace Garden in North Dakota. Also joining this interview is Youth Officer Sulika Creaky. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Good Morning SKN.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, pleasure indeed. So, gentlemen, I have to start with you first. I know it's ladies first, but it's gentlemen first this morning. Why did you decide to audition for a place in this music camp? I'll start with Jamari.
I auditioned because I wanted to go farther in my music, and I would like to be a ministry to others and to inspire others that it doesn't matter where you come from, you can become something great.
Okay, you say it doesn't matter where you come from. Could you expound on that a bit?
I'm colored, so I'm speaking to the colored people. Yeah.
Alrighty, Colin.
Well, from the moment I saw the poster, I immediately told myself that yes, I'm going to do it because this is a big opportunity for me to go as not only a saxophonist but as a musician and a whole.
Okay.
I can feel the passion. I can imagine, Sulika, it must not have been easy deciding for the audition. So let's start with the number of people who auditioned and the process generally.
Well, it was definitely not easy, and we had about 6 persons who auditioned, and we had 2 vocalists and the rest were musicians, and the majority of them played saxophone. So that was then I guess a little bit of a challenge for the judges. We had 4 judges, including Gavin Charles, who is also a local tutor who does music, who teaches music. And so I think that it went well. The judges did deliberate and discussed, and they moved from the points, how well they scored in their auditions.
Well, I have to say congratulations to you.
Yes.
And I'm going to
thank you.
Say especially you, because you had a lot of competition.
I didn't know so many saxophonists were in St. Kitts, though. I'm actually surprised that you said...
they're young persons who are interested in saxophone.
So who is bringing up this breed of young saxophonists? Because I am actually shocked. I heard this young man, and I know there's Blessings. Those are the only 2 that I'm really familiar with, so I'm like shocked to hear
we have a next one who is about 14. We have another one who is about 15. So we have some young persons, and then there was one young man who also played the saxophone and the piano, and Colin also plays the guitar, but he did not try out with the guitar.
He's confident in his saxophone.
Yes.
You go, guy.
Well, it worked out for you, didn't it?
Yes, indeed.
All right, so Sulika, what will the camp entail?
Well, the camp will entail 2 weeks of honing their skills. When they arrive to North Dakota at the International Peace Garden, they're going to do another audition, where they will be placed in the group that they belong based on their skill level. And then during that time, during the first week, they will be learning the instrument, learning the ins and outs of it. For instance, if the saxophonist, I guess you probably learn breathing techniques and stuff like that as well. From a past participant of the camp, she spoke about the fact that they focused a lot on her breathing techniques and how she positioned her instrument in her mouth and stuff like that. So it's a holistic training, and not just here, play this based on that. They are also interested in musicians who can read music very well, and so that is something that these young men also have experience in and hoping to improve on for when they arrive. And then at the end of the first week, there'll be everyone will come together in a concert showcasing their new skills. And then the next week, they'll do the next discipline that they signed up for. So we've already sent their registration and application packages, and now we're just waiting on their acceptance letter. No, they've already been accepted, but officially the information.
Jamari, I noticed when Sulika was speaking about reading music, you were shaking your head. Where did you learn to read music, and when did you discover your skill or your ability to sing?
Well, I discovered my abilities to sing about when I was 7, so I would say 8 years ago. It was at a concert in the church, and I was the lead singer.
Ooh.
Yeah. So and I started reading music recently, due to my piano classes. So I'm just learning how to play the piano. So one thing that we started to do is sight reading, where we read the music and we play it on the piano. So yeah.
Oh wow. Colin?
Well, I learned to sight read in school.
Okay.
I was taught by Mr. Hicks.
How young?
First farm, so yes. We played in the Bastille High School Symphonic Band from first farm, come straight up to fifth farm, and we were just constantly reading off of sheet music, so I can read it fairly well.
Okay. So when did you know that the saxophone was the instrument that you would hone?
Well, back to first farm again.
So everything began in first farm?
Well, for saxophone.
Okay.
Yes. We had for music class, we were told to pick an instrument, and I didn't know which instrument to pick, and so just from seeing the options, I just say, let me just try out the saxophone, and then everything just went up from there.
I have to say, I'm listening to you, and I'm going to call you CJ, because I know you're CJ. There's a reason we call you CJ, all right? Yeah, I'm listening to you. I have to say, you're one of Mr. Hicks's many children. I think they're over the generations.
Jeez,
He has many children, so clearly you were one of those, and it would be good, I'm sure, the experience that you'll have when you go there. Jamari, I knew you were 15, but to hear you say that you started singing when you were only 8 years old, your voice now is way beyond that. So I can only imagine what would happen once you return. Sorry. Hey, what are you guys looking forward to most on this trip?
I'm looking forward to the ability to see another country, because I've never left St. Kitts, and I'm also looking for the help to become a better artist and vocalist,
Oh wow, so this is going to be exciting.
And CJ?
To be honest, mostly the concerts are going to happen on the weekends. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, nice.
Especially.
Well, I know Sulika's looking forward to what happens when you guys come back. Did you tell them what that entails, Sulika?
Yes, I'm also looking forward to, when they return, and, if we can see how they can do something, because for other musicians, for other young upcoming musicians, because it was very unfortunate that, we only had two persons to select. I mean, everybody who tried out were amazing and have talent. And I don't ever want them to feel like because they weren't selected, it means that they're not good enough. We have a lot of talent here, and I would love to see more done for our musicians and artists in St. Kitts. And so hopefully that we can do something when they come back, maybe a little workshop or something.
That's a yes, right?
Before we go to break, I want to know, how tough was the competition for both of you guys that you had to go through to get to this stage?
You mean the audition?
Yes. How tough was it?
Well, we really didn't see the other auditions because it was like a time thing.
Okay.
So I saw some of the videos that were taken, and I think that they're fairly well, and I'm really happy that I was able to accomplish this.
Okay. I'm happy for you as well.
In terms of toughness, I would say the toughest thing for me would have been probably choosing a song to audition. So, but after that, I just practiced and rehearsed, and it was all good from there.
Okay, I'm just curious now that you said that. What song did you choose?
A reggae song from Junior Tucker, Lord, I Give Him My Heart.
Okay. Yes. You're whetting the appetite of our viewers, so we'll see if they get satisfied after this. But as Hortensia said, we're going to take a break. Sulika, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We'll be back with you two after the break. More GMSKN in a second.
no cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We are speaking with saxophonist Colin Norford Jr., or CJ, as he's affectionately called, and vocalist Jamari Isaac. And before we continue, we have some clips of these young men performing. We're going to start with the clip of CJ. Take a look. Okay, so CJ, that was the song that you auditioned with.
Yes.
All right, I could see that you were feeling it. You were definitely vibing. I was fighting the urge, Jamari, to have you sing during that. I was like, what will that sound like, that collaboration?
Yeah.
That was great. That was great.
That was beautiful indeed. I was thinking a churro tapping while he was going into the high notes with the eyes closed.
There were some parts there that I was like, wow, I love that. And I love the way that you were vibing with it. You made it your own. And I can see why you're selected.
Wow. Now we will look at a clip of Jamari, a soloist. Yes.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when trouble comes and my heart burdens me, then I am still and waiting in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulder. Raise me up to more than
I asked you about this. When you came here, I was like, yeah, I remember seeing you perform. But that's actually what you performed. I was in the audience when you performed that. And I remember thinking, wow, this guy can sing. And you were 14 years old at the time, if you believe that. And I thought, that's why when I heard you say you started singing, oh, you knew that you had talent at 8, it shocked me. Because in that time frame, you listed the time a while. I was like, okay, that's mad talent. I can see you guys are great.
Extremely great. Do you have a voice coach?
Well, when I was younger, I used to practice my songs with Lucine Vaughn.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was the one who helped me get better in that time frame.
Okay.
The vibrato, the control. Listen, there's so many things that are right in that song. Anyway, we're not talking about my understanding of it. We're talking about you guys.
Yeah.
So, how did you? Well, you began with picks. You began otherwise. What do you enjoy most about performing? Colin.
The song.
What does that mean?
Yes. Most of the time when I'm playing, seeing that the instrument is a solo instrument, right? I'm just focusing on the words and what they really, really mean. That's what I enjoy most. Yes.
Okay. Mark?
It's kind of similar, yes, because I love to sing and I love the feeling that I get when I sing. I also love the inspiration that it is to others, and I sing as a ministry. I sing to minister to others and tell people about Jesus Christ, because I'm Seventh Adventist and that is what we do. So yes, that's what I really love when I sing.
So I know how you continue to practice your art. Colin, how do you continue to grow in your music journey with your saxophone?
Well, I play in church every Sunday.
Okay.
Yes, that I'm playing church since May last year.
Okay.
So, yes, that's how I practice every weekend.
Okay.
Practice at church.
So Mr. Hicks doesn't have any.
Well, since I left high school, haven't really played with him that much.
Okay.
But he'd be proud of you anyway.
Yes.
CJ. 25 most remarkable teens. Awarded in 2019. We're going through your life here, right? You're enrolled at the CFBC. Were you pursuing studies in IT and applied science? The IT, does that come from your dad?
Well, I would assume so, yes.
I like that. You own it, guy. You own it. It's yours. It's yours.
I'm going to be like a fine woman. Any pressure, or did you just realize that he loved it and so you wanted to get more into it?
Well, to be honest, I liked it, so I picked it. Yes.
Okay. So no pressure there. And I see that you play football.
Yes, I do.
That's the only sport you play?
Yes.
No other sport piqued your interest?
Well, of course, but not to be played seriously. Maybe like in the yard with some friends, whatever.
Yeah, but you're on the K-On Premier Team. K-On Premier. You got to name a team, right? You're giving them props, right? K-On Premier Team. All right. You.
I'm
a Wildcat. A fellow Wildcat. You see where this is going? Cortez.
A sellout. He came from BHS.
Okay, for those of you who don't know what a Wildcat is, right?
Wow.
Tell them what a Wildcat is.
A Wildcat is someone who attends or attended the Washington Archibald High School.
And you don't only attend, but you are an honor roll student, and you have certain aspirations. What do you want to be?
I want to be a neurosurgeon.
And you were leaving out one thing, because I'm a foodie. Where does the pastry chef come in?
I love to cook. Recently, when we were the COVID-19 crisis, we were quarantined and my mom wasn't feeling too well, so I was the one who had to be preparing the meals for me and my other two brothers and my mom. Yeah, and I started to cook before that, but during the quarantine is where I really developed the passion, and I've cooked many different dishes, and I really love to cook, and I love to bake as well. Recently for Christmas I did a apple pie. Yeah, so I would like to be a neurosurgeon, but I'll have the pastry chef. I would like to own my own bakery on the side.
All right. Well, you guys are definitely ambitious, and that's great, by the way. Don't know why you didn't bring anything for me today, but I can forgive you. As long as you give CJ a slice the next time you do it, all is forgiven. All right, so you're in the Seventh-day Adventist Pathfinders Club. What's that like for you?
It's really fun. We get to do lots of stuff, as in go campaign or drills like marching, and we get to do different activities like how to build fires or pitch a tent. We have honors, so we have honors on different topics, so nature, animals. Yeah, it's really fun experience.
All right, sounds like it. You know any of these skills, Colin?
No, not at all.
Like, not me.
Well, that's why you're friends, right? You can learn, you can teach, etc.
Indeed.
Listen, it's been a real pleasure talking with you guys, and I know that your trajectory is going to be so great. You're young, you got the whole world ahead of you. North Dakota, watch out, right?
They're coming.
You're going to take it by storm.
Yep.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yes, and thank you.
All right.
It has been a great pleasure to be here.
I feel like asking you if you want to sing us out. You don't need an instrument, but you can't sing us out, can you? Give us a line of something.
Give us a line.
Line of something that's going to be like 20 seconds long.
Should I throw the song out?
Oh Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy pour throughout the universe displayed.
Then sings our song. No, I wouldn't sing. I can't compete with that, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Our pleasure. More GMS SKN in a moment. Stay tuned.
no cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom. No cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. It is time for us to loosen up. As human beings, we're often very hard on ourselves. So much so, you often hear people say, I am my biggest critic. And I've said that. While in some instances, this can be a good thing, we will be discussing the importance of giving yourself grace. Grace, yes, grace. All right, so don't be so hard on yourself because there is no such thing as perfection. That's one of the ways that you can give yourself grace because although we aspire to be perfect or rather aim perfection, which is also one of those things, by the way, now that we're talking about it, one of those things that always bugged me about life and religion and the quest to be better. It's like you're aiming for perfection, but there's that balance because you know you will never be perfect.
Never.
But perhaps you'll make less mistakes as you go, or you'll not make the same old ones that you made before. And so in that way, you are getting better in certain areas and then you move on and so on. So that was one of those things, especially when I thought about it at a young age. It's like, yeah, we're supposed to be, right? But, but this makes sense.
No such things. As you rightfully said, we learn from our mistakes or we don't learn from our mistakes because some people do the same thing over and over and it doesn't work. So we have to learn from the mistakes as we go along. So practicing self-compassion. We often find it easy to extend grace to others. Yes, oh my gosh. How are we? Why are we? Ourselves should smack us, you know. Ourselves needs to smack us. Extend grace to others, but find it challenging to do the same for ourselves. Why? We always put every other thing or person in front of ourselves and leave ourselves for last. I'm that type of person. I'm trying to get me first, but it doesn't work because I put everything else in front of me. Suffer myself.
You know what it is? And I'll go back to it. I think it's the way that we're trained. We're taught to care for others. And so we know that sacrifice in parental relationships. We know that sacrifice when it comes to families. And so we keep doing it. And it took me a while to realize that when it comes to what the good book says, because we are from that type of society where we read the Bible, we're a Christian-based society. When it comes to that, love your neighbor as yourself. And when I have the epiphany that in order for me to love my neighbor, I need to love myself, I wouldn't know what love is to show it if I don't love myself. So in that way, I need to be first so that I have something to give to someone else. So to your point, well, I saw an epiphany. The expression. What are you saying? What are you thinking?
Because I'm thinking the good book says we should have, but we don't. We love everyone else at the detriment of ourselves. So why are we doing this to ourselves when we are admonished or told this is what you do? So in turn, you yourself can give it because you know you have it.
That's exactly where I'm at. Precisely. Because we're, oh wow, you see, you
I got it. Why you were saying it, but it's like a wow now.
Yeah, because that's, when we see that, sometimes we call it selfishness or whatever, or we say, you know, you're putting, it cannot be. Because you have to start with you.
And I'm going to start with me.
So give yourself grace. It's all right to put yourself first sometimes, right? In a situation. Because
people tell us that all the time, but we think, oh, it's coming from a secular place. Oh, we don't need to listen to that. You know, what we're doing will be blessed for. Not knowing that we will be blessed even if we do it because we were told to do it in the first place. Shouts me.
Okay, it's Epiphany morning.
Confession Fridays. Good.
But that's honestly, I think it's one of those things. So we just take for granted the fact that, you know, the way that we live, we ought to live in service and be of service, and that's fine.
Yes.
You know, we think of it as sacrifice, and that's fine too. But it really does have to start with you. It has to start with me, and then we move from there to understand exactly what our sacrifice would mean.
Exactly.
Right. So we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but here it is again. Make an effort to reduce negative self-talk. I mean, you said something yesterday. Well, I said, and then you picked up on and extended it. Death and life being in the power of the tongue. We talked about negative self-talk, which is what you brought into it. And it's so very easy for us to do this as individuals sometimes. We talk down to ourselves.
All the time.
I wonder if it's a defense mechanism, because if we do that, maybe then when somebody else does it, it might not have the sting. So yeah, I know I'm not that good at that, so whatever. So if somebody else says it, it's like, but I told myself that, so it's okay. I wonder if that's what it is sometimes.
I'm wondering here too. Is it really? Because, maybe it is. Because now I'm thinking, I'm not good at maths. So if somebody say, oh, you're terrible, I'd be like, I know that. You don't have to tell me that. So yeah, wow.
Right. So it might be one of those things that keeps us from getting any better at something.
Yeah, and as I said yesterday, as you rightfully said, whatever leaves our mouth is the mantras we are putting out there. So if we say this is going to happen in that time, and when it happens, don't be surprised. As I said, I've spoken, I've seen it happen, and I'll be like, okay, Cortensia, you did that to yourself, so that's... And there's me again being negative to myself. When I should be like, you know, I did that to myself, but I can do better. I won't do the same thing again. But we are creatures of habit, and Jamie said in the beginning, sometimes we learn from our mistakes or we don't learn. And sometimes I can personally say, I do the same things over and over, so it's obvious that I'm not learning from my mistakes, so I have to make a conscious effort to do better.
Well, that's just it. In terms of being conscious, you're mindful of the mistake that you made, not only the fact that it occurred, but also you're mindful of the things that caused it to occur. So all of those things come to bear. And so when it comes to reducing negative self-talk, we might not be the best at whatever, but it doesn't mean that you have to tell yourself that. Doesn't mean that you're delusional either, don't get me wrong. I know I'm not advocating for that. That's not what I mean. But it's always good to be positive. So focus on your positives. You know what I mean? While you're working on your negatives, focus on your positives, but don't use negative expressions, negative self-expressions to paralyze you, to keep you from moving in a particular direction, especially if that's the direction that you want to be in, right? Do what it takes to do that. And Give yourself grace. Say, I wasn't there yesterday, but today I am. I am better at it.
Yeah.
You know, just do that. Reduce negative self-talk.
Yeah. And giving yourself grace is permission to forgive your mistakes, lapses in judgment, and hurtful behavior towards others and yourself. Because sometimes it's hard to forgive yourself. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Is it hard to forgive yourself? As a woman, it's hard. Because it rehashes in my head over and over and over and over and over. And the person's going to say, it's okay. But I don't forgive myself.
Yeah, it is. I mean, some would say it's hard to forgive others. It's a little easier to forgive ourselves, right? Some would say that.
It's easy to forgive others, I swear.
That's not the conversation today, though. We're talking
Yeah.
about ourselves, right? But hey.
It's easy
Although
to
it could be. I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
All right.
But don't you think it's easy to forgive others than forgive ourselves? Because we beat ourselves up, like, I should have known that. Like,
Sometimes.
even in an exam, like, I should have known that. I studied that. And it's like, wow.
Sometimes it can be, but again, you've got to know yourself, and then you would be okay to forgive yourself, particularly if you're doing all the other things of not being too hard on yourself and speaking positivity into your life. You're getting better. So, you know, it's all a process. That's what it is. It's all a process. All right. So here's the thing. It should prompt some action, whether self-cure, repairing a damaged relationship, or taking responsibility for your choices.
Yeah.
All right? Giving yourself grace should actually prompt these actions. So whether it's self-care, so you talk about days at the spa all the time, but that's not necessarily where I'm at, but maybe you need that, I don't know, to give yourself a boost, to feel beautiful on the outside, and hopefully it extends to the inside, or it penetrates to the inside, for use of a better term.
Yeah.
When it comes to repairing damaged relationships, again, nothing happens overnight, so you give yourself time and space. It may or may not happen.
So this damaged relationship, I have to reach out to the person to repair it? What if I wasn't the one to break it up?
Maybe, I don't know. Depends on how damaged it is, because you know you might get a brap if you call.
Exactly. Wow.
Well, back in the days when people used to have to dial landlines, now it's a cell phone. It's like, oh, ignore, or you can block, right? So it's a little
But
different.
you can still block now, though.
Yeah, and
but-
delete.
Oh my gosh. And delete, yeah. But you mentioned the spa, and we can even do therapy. But for us Black people, no pun intended, to go to therapy is shameful, or for some, or to go to therapy says you have a problem. But what if we do have an internal problem that we don't know, and that there's someone that can help us to see that problem, bring out that problem? So that's a form of self-care too, therapy.
Exactly. So take care of yourself,
Yeah,
no matter
take care
what.
of your mind.
Here's the thing. When I'm looking at this, and especially with your example, I'm seeing how we let other people's perceptions dictate what's right for us to do.
Yeah,
because of the
stigmas.
stigma. It's like if somebody sees me, then they'll say, you know, this is...
I'm crazy.
Well, there you go.
I don't care.
But is it what you need? And that's the question. Is it what you need, regardless of what anybody else says or thinks about it? Then you do that.
Exactly. Do what's good for you, because at the end of the day, as we said, if you're not good, then who's gonna be good? Nobody. If you're somebody that helps someone and you're not mentally stable, you're not physically stable, you can't help. You have to do what serves you best. And as Jamie would say, the good book said, take care of yourself first, so that you have enough. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Let's say that. Your cup has to be filled, so at least you can pour half, quarter, three-quarter into someone else. So give yourself grace, take care of yourself, do what needs
Yeah, and it's amazing how we do these things, right? Because selfishness or self-cure, which one is it? It's such a struggle sometimes, isn't it?
Well, we're not, and that's the first thing we need to get over, the selfishness and understand that selfishness sometimes means self-care.
Okay, and I'm with you on that, because again, how you look at it determines what you get from it, right? So yeah, it's okay to be selfish, and we're not talking about the negative connotation.
Yes.
Because sometimes some people are just taking care of themselves, and we've labeled it as selfish, but we don't know what, I'm going to put it this way, we don't know what their self, quote unquote, what they are going through. I willfully said their self, by the way, in case you thought I didn't understand English, right? But we don't know. They do, so they're in the best position to take care of themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they need the intervention of someone else to say, hey, maybe you need to work on this. But really, when it comes to giving yourself grace, it's okay to make mistakes. You do whatever, you learn from it, you pick yourself up, you dust off, you go. But the most important thing to do is do what works for you.
Exactly. Do what works for you.
All right, but what works for me right now is taking a break. We'll be back in a moment with more Good Morning SKN.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
So as children, we all came up with our own conclusion about the state of the world. We sure did. To the point where we actually believe they were true. Dun, 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 we did. So today we will be looking at some of the things persons tweeted about believing as children. So in the comments, let us know if you thought the same thing or what you thought of them was true when you were a child. Can we read that?
It is. Although some people might realize that their truths are no longer truths. So to the adults that we're about to scar, I sincerely
including
apologize.
ourselves. I thought that other kids got to keep watching TV shows during the commercials I saw. I seem to recall resenting that. Huh? I never thought that.
The only thing that saved this guy is that, or a girl, is that, well, she was a kid.
Oh,
Because
Janet.
She was an adult thinking that.
Licks.
Wow.
Everybody's TV went on commercial, Janet. All of us. And I find sometimes the commercials were more fun than the shows. As you said, the commercials made you want your parents to go buy all the cereals and the snacks and the Barbies and everything because they sold those things well to us as kids. Mm-hmm.
That they did.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're backpedaling. It's too sweet. Anyway.
Too sweet? Yeah.
All right.
We're sweet enough.
So this person writes, or tweets, when a song was being played on the radio, I thought the whole band just popped into the room with the radio presenter, then left once they'd finished. Well, that's interesting. So you're talking about live performances. You're hearing the voice on the radio. And then you're thinking, oh, it's a live bet coming through. Hey, you guys are in the studio. Awesome.
Confession Friday. I thought the radio announcer was in the radio when I was little.
Well, that's what I was going with it. So you're fine. Because I really thought this person was going to write that they thought that
they were in the actual box.
We're in the radio. So this is not that bad.
Oh my God.
It's not that bad, Bonnie. You're okay. Cortensi's worse than you. You're okay. Cortensi thought they were in the radio.
I thought they were in the radio.
Little people, Cortensi?
I actually thought there was a tiny desk with the person in the radio. Yeah.
There is a tiny desk, but it's a different kind on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, that is gonna match me up. But he gets what I mean. I literally thought there was somebody sitting in there until I got a bit older and I'd be like, no, nobody's in there. The person's on the other side.
Too much Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That's
much.
what I attribute that to.
I actually be like, how is this person coming through the radio? Not knowing there's a whole transistor, there's that. For me, yeah. So X Bat-hen, what does he want to be? A Batman, a Bat-hen? What is this? I thought that when someone choked a bit and said something had gone down the wrong way, that we must have a food tube and a drink tube. And I wondered how our bodies knew what to do with the chunky vegetable soup. Oh, so we needed a soup tube?
He's saying that they were mixed, so where does it go? It's like, the soup could be like, he could drink soup, right? But then,
because he's saying, he thought there were two tubes, but he looks like he want to add a third tube.
No, what he's saying is the soup is, you can drink the soup. So that would go down the drink tube.
Oh my God.
But then you've got chunky.
So you need a chunky.
So what's going to go on? It's like, can it go there or is there like what? This is confusing.
That's why I said he's looking for a third tube.
But
why, Jamie? Why do we say that if we choke, I went down the wrong throat? So where's the right throat?
Oh,
where did we get those sayings from?
Yeah, bad habits. Ooh.
That went down the wrong throat.
Oh, it did. You've got two. Okay.
No, we can't say how many we got. He said 2 and hoping for 3, but why do we say the wrong throat? How many throats do we have?
Listen, this is a scientific problem. Filtration is going on here. It's like, hey.
The name alone, X Bat-hen.
Maybe the soup is intelligent. I go this way. It's the chunky part, I go that way.
That way, yeah.
Wow.
So we need a chunky tube, guys. So Lord, put in a chunky tube, please. A chunky soup tube, by the way. Oh my gosh.
Things you say when you're children.
I know.
All right, so Diane writes or tweets, my daughter stopped eating all cereals as a kid. She told us years later she heard on the news a serial killer was on the loose. Thought he was in the cereal box, didn't want to take a chance, and she loved cereal, but she gave it up anyway, and I agree with you because you didn't want to kill him on the loose in your house.
Oh wow.
Because you couldn't part with the cereal.
Oh wow. Well, imagine that killer made a part with them though. A serial killer.
Wow.
But what if she thought that she was a serial killer, so that's why maybe she stopped, but I understand what she means. So she stopped eating cereal so she won't be the serial killer, you know?
She didn't want to be killed by I don't blame her. She was a child. I mean, seriously, you're talking about serial killer. Yeah, it is what it is, right?
This is why people need to speak up to understand.
I wonder how long she gave it up, though.
Oh my
Considering that she
God.
loved cereal. It's like, did it take her a week to realize that? Did it take her years?
Years, but see, years later, she heard. Wow.
Oh, this is terrible. Well, she told them years later.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, what am I reading? She told them years, yeah.
This is so funny.
Wow.
I don't blame you. I get you.
So, okay. Is this full mental feminist? When I was a little kid, like maybe 5, I didn't know how Egypt was pronounced when I read it in books. So in my head, I called it Egiput. The embarrassing thing is, I knew there was a country called Egypt. I just didn't realize. Wait. The embarrassing thing is, I knew there was a country called Egypt. I just didn't realize they were the same. Oh, okay, got it.
Hey, if it's Egiput, it's Egiput, okay? Call it Egiput.
Oh my God.
Call it what you want.
Just like how in Ghana we say Iran, and then I heard on the American news Iran or Iraq, or no, it's Iran. It's Iraq. Okay. All right.
Hey.
Pronunciation, it differs. Because I would have never said Iraq. It's Iraq.
Iraq, you know what I mean. It is what it, tomato, tomato, that's what I say. Tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato.
Potato, potato.
Oh, gosh.
All right, here's Simon.
Yeah.
Simon tweets, I thought that you could take money out of a cash machine anytime you needed some. Well, that's valid, isn't it? Until you learned differently. So it seemed odd that people worried about the cost of things when they should just visit the cash machine more frequently. Hey, you got it. You got it. I don't blame you.
You can only visit that cash machine when you got cash.
Well, exactly, because it's not coming out for you. It's coming out for somebody else. But if you don't know that, it's a cash machine. Why not just go to the cash machine and get it, right?
Like yesterday, my nephew wanted something from the supermarket. So I said, okay, you got money. Let's go spend your money. He said, no, I can't spend my money. I said, why? He said, because you're going to get money before I get more money. I said, but that's not true. He said, yeah, you work, so you know how to get money. Now, I don't work, and I have to do chores, and then I have to wait for my money. And I'd be like, at 4 years old, he understands how I get money and telling me why I should spend my money, because his money comes a little later. So he knows that until his moms get paid, he can't get paid for his chores, although he demands his money right away.
Brilliant.
I was like, my gosh, these kids so smart. No, I guess he would know that you have to have cash to get money.
Well, you could try. Just tell him to go to the cash machine.
He's gonna say, do you have money?
Take your card.
Yeah. So when I was very small, I thought that moving house meant literally moving your house to a different place. I then imagined there must be a secret button somewhere that you push to enable this and set about trying to find it. Really?
Well, I hate to break it to you, but in these parts, that was actually a thing.
Yeah, packing up.
Packing up the house, putting it on a trailer, and watching it on the main road as you navigate the country the weekend. You're literally taking your chattel house.
Well, you know, in Antigua, Jamie, they build the houses, the wooden houses, and then they move them on the trailer to their location.
There you go.
Yeah, so some people literally get their house moved, but they still have to pack up their stuff to move into that house. So if that's what they thought, then oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's not that bad. If you were from here, I'd tell you it's okay. That could have that meaning.
Some houses literally move. Yeah, move. As Jamie say, put them on the trailer.
All right, so Jenny tweets, I thought newsreaders could see us because they were looking straight at us. I stuck my tongue out at Peter Sissons once and then was so scared he was going to tell my mom. Well, on the first part, did I ever think that? I feel that way, though. I felt that way, yeah. Growing up watching television, I thought that obviously these people are looking right at us because they say, hey, good morning, welcome to whatever you're watching, great to have you. And they're having a conversation, they're looking right at me. So why not? It took me a while to realize they couldn't see me because I was doing all sorts of weird things and nobody commented, so hey. So, it's like, hey,
no, the only thing I thought was the person was in the radio. Yeah. Even the Soldier Saturdays when we tied up our shirt just like them to make the short shirts, and then we have on our bicycle tights that's back in now, and we just boogie nuts because you know what his name, Don Cornelius, he commissioned us to come on dance with us, and we were in the line and we listen. Yeah. Growing up was fun, but I'm glad I found out that there was no little man at a tiny desk.
Yeah, and by the way, we're not looking right at you, even though you think we are.
We are now.
All right, so we want to thank you guys for joining us for another edition of GMSKN. We invite you to tune in daily to find a little bit of everything for everyone, and we get to everyone if you tell your friends and family members to watch.
Yeah.
So follow us on our social media platforms, including Facebook and YouTube at Studio327 Inc., and on Instagram at Good Morning SKN. Remember to like, subscribe, follow, and share if you can, and also visit our webpage at www.studio327inc.com to learn more about GMSKN and Studio 327.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed our program, and today good luck to the two young men as they head off to North Dakota. Give all the help to Ms. Tobin that you can to ensure that everyone gets a good life. This is a part where I also ask you to leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's show. And see you, not tomorrow, but see you on Monday at 8 a.m. when you wake up bright and early and start your morning with us right here at Good Morning SKN. Thank you for watching. Be nice to someone. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday.